Every night, billions of people close their eyes and hope for the best. They toss, they turn, they wake up exhausted, and the next day they reach for coffee instead of answers. But what if the answer was already watching over them while they slept? What if a system powered by artificial intelligence was silently learning their body, predicting their next bad night, and quietly fixing it before they even felt it? This is not science fiction. This is the very near future, and for millions of people, it is already happening. Sleep has always been one of the most mysterious and most neglected pillars of human health. Doctors have known for decades that poor sleep is linked to heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and mental illness. Yet for most of history, the only real tool available was a lab called a sleep clinic, expensive, inconvenient, and available to very few. A patient would spend a night wired up to dozens of sensors in an unfamiliar bed, and the data collected would then be analyzed by hand. The process was slow, costly, and often inaccessible for the majority of the world. That entire model is now being dismantled, replaced by artificial intelligence that never sleeps, never tires, and learns something new every single night. How AI is already changing the way sleep is tracked and understood. The first wave of AI in sleep technology came through wearable devices. Rings, wristbands, and smartwatches began collecting data during sleep: heart rate, breathing rhythm, skin temperature, movement, and blood oxygen levels. But raw data alone meant nothing without intelligence behind it. That is where AI stepped in and changed everything. Today, machine learning algorithms can analyze all of that biological data in real time and classify exactly what stage of sleep a person is in: light sleep, deep sleep, or REM, with a level of accuracy that was once only possible inside a hospital. The Oura Ring, a small Finnish-designed wearable worn on the finger, became one of the most prominent examples of this shift. Celebrities like Jennifer Aniston and Gwyneth Paltrow began wearing it openly, and the company behind it doubled its revenue in a single year, reaching close to $1 billion in sales. That kind of adoption from Hollywood to everyday households signals that AI-powered sleep tracking has moved well past the early adopter phase. Meanwhile, researchers at Mount Sinai developed a groundbreaking AI model called PF Sleep. Unlike earlier systems that analyze short fragments of sleep data, this model processes an entire night of brain waves, muscle activity, breathing patterns, and heart rate all at once. By training on thousands of full-length sleep recordings, PF Sleep can identify patterns across an entire night's sleep and across different populations, offering a far more accurate and complete picture than anything that came before it. Researchers described this as a meaningful step toward clinical tools that can detect sleep disorders and predict future health risks without ever sending a patient to a lab. The implications of that last point cannot be overstated. Globally, an estimated 1 billion people are living with undiagnosed sleep disorders. Sleep apnea alone affects hundreds of millions, yet most people with the condition have no idea they have it. AI-powered smartphone apps and wearables are now being positioned to screen for these disorders passively, while a person simply sleeps in their own bed. One platform, formerly known as SleepScore Labs and now operating as Sleep A, built a system capable of collecting sleep data through a smartphone without requiring any wearable at all. Its machine learning model for detecting sleep apnea risk achieved meaningful accuracy scores in clinical testing, outperforming some traditional screening tools. That is the kind of scalability that changes public health, because it works for someone in New York just as easily as someone in a rural area with no specialist nearby. AI as a personal sleep coach, and the risks that come with it. Beyond detection, AI is now moving into active intervention. The next frontier is not just knowing what happened during sleep, but changing what happens next. AI coaching systems are being built that push personalized recommendations to users every morning, adjusting bedtime suggestions, flagging behavioral patterns, and coaching people toward better habits night by night. These systems are not static, they learn. Every night they collect more data, refine their model of the individual user, and deliver more precise guidance the following day. Platforms are already combining reactive coaching, where a user asks a question, with proactive coaching, where the system pushes tailored advice automatically. The idea is to lower the barrier for people who may not know what to ask. Someone might not realize that their average bedtime has shifted 30 minutes later over 3 weeks, or that their deep sleep always collapses the night after a high-stress workday. An AI system watching that data continuously can catch the pattern and flag it before the user notices anything. Even the hospitality industry has begun tapping into this technology. Hotels are using AI-powered systems to personalize the sleep environment for guests, adjusting room temperature, lighting, and sound based on the time of night and the guest's known preferences. Sleep tourism, once a niche concept, is now a measurable trend, with surveys showing that a large majority of frequent travelers are willing to pay significantly more for accommodations that genuinely improve their rest. But this rapid expansion of AI into intimate nightly life does come with complications. Researchers and clinicians have raised a concern that might seem ironic at first glance. Too much sleep tracking can make sleep worse. The condition is called orthosomnia, a growing obsession with achieving perfect sleep scores that produces exactly the anxiety it is trying to cure. When someone wakes up at 3 a.m. to check their sleep app and sees a low deep sleep score, the act of checking itself can disrupt the very rest they were hoping to protect. This is a genuine challenge that AI developers and sleep scientists are now actively working to solve, building systems that coach without creating pressure, and that present data in ways that inform rather than alarm. There is also the critical question of where AI ends and clinical care must begin. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine has been unambiguous on this point: no app, no ring, and no algorithm can diagnose a sleep disorder. These tools can screen, flag, and raise a concern, but they cannot replace a physician's judgment. The future of AI in sleep medicine must include a clear pathway from the app to the clinic, ensuring that when a system detects something serious, it routes the user toward real medical care rather than simply offering another notification. What the future holds and why it matters more than most people think. The trajectory of AI in sleep technology points toward something far more powerful than better bedtime reminders. Researchers are working toward AI systems that can predict future health risks based on changes in sleep patterns, detecting early warning signs of neurological conditions, metabolic disorders, and cardiovascular disease months or even years before symptoms appear. Sleep data, it turns out, is a remarkably rich source of information about what is happening inside the body. The brain cycles through highly distinct biological states during sleep, and disruptions in those cycles often show up in the data long before a person feels any change in their health. The combination of AI with wearable biosensors is accelerating this possibility. As devices become more sophisticated and the datasets they generate grow larger, the models trained on that data become more capable of discovering patterns that no human expert could find manually. Scientists describe this as the potential to uncover entirely new biomarkers, measurable signals in sleep data that correspond to specific health conditions and that current medicine has not yet identified. Athlete performance is another area where AI-driven sleep optimization is already showing results. Professional sports teams around the world have begun monitoring athletes' sleep with AI systems and adjusting training loads, travel schedules, and recovery protocols based on real-time sleep quality data. The logic is simple. An athlete who is under-rested performs worse, recovers more slowly, and is more prone to injury. An AI system that catches a declining sleep trend early gives coaches and medical staff the information they need to intervene before performance suffers. What all of this reveals is that sleep is not just a passive state that the body falls into when there is nothing else to do. It is a sophisticated biological process, dynamic, measurable, and now increasingly manageable with the right tools. Artificial intelligence is not replacing the science of sleep or the expertise of physicians who have devoted careers to understanding it. It is making that science accessible to everyone, at scale, in a way that was simply not possible before. The future of sleep is no longer about guessing why mornings feel wrong. It is about knowing, with precision, with data, and with intelligence that never stops learning, how to make every night count.